welcome back to the channel, guys. It's been a little bit, haven't got a video out in a while. I've got stuff recorded, I just haven't had time to make many videos. But this video, we're gonna do this all at once. We're working on something a little bit different. So if you didn't know, Christy's got a grandkid. Slash mine, whatever. But we're making something cool for the grandkid right now. So check this bad boy out. So we've already taken the wheels and stuff off. We got those sat over there. This is a Jeep that her daughter got for free. And we started out by doing like the battery upgrade with the voltage regulator, and wasn't happy with it because this is the kind that had the had a remote controller. So we're ditching all that and we're just starting fresh. So if you step over here, here's the new setup we got. We got a 3,000 watt motor controller, and we're going to be running 60 volts, 3 batteries. This is all just put together for testing purposes. But then we've got our key switch that we'll wire in here. And then we're not using this. This actually comes with a gas pedal too. It's a variable speed. But right now, if you watch that, we've got reverse also on this thing. So this project is getting all of this fitted into this thing here. And you guys can see how we do it all. But after that little introduction, let's just get right into taking some stuff off this thing, okay? Don't forget to like, subscribe, check out our other videos. This will be our first electric adventure here, so we're kind of excited about this. We've got some other ideas for electric things that could possibly be pretty cool. So let's get started taking some stuff off this thing. Alright, so if you couldn't tell, we've already done some prep work just to see what we can do here. We already took like the control boxes off the old setup. As much electrical as we didn't want, we took out kind of already. There's some little lights and stuff that we're gonna reuse. We've taken the wheels off, the axles off, just to make it lighter and kind of look at stuff. Some dash stuff we've taken off here. Like this thing came with a little radio. We're probably gonna repurpose this and put the key switch in here. But this is off, all the electrical's off. Next thing we need to do is we need to flip this over and get this little rear steel subframe off. This actually has like a little swing arm and some shocks. So we need to take this off next, and we'll see if the idea I've been working on is gonna actually work on this. So let's get this thing flipped over and we'll get this off there. Now we got Christy taking off the screws. This thing has this little subframe here. It's only held in by 8 little plastic screws. Is that the last one?
That's the last one.
So now this whole thing, yep. So this is like the whole rear end, and now we got all that space there. But our intention is to reuse this. So the plan is to make kind of, here, let me pass you off here. So the plan is, don't worry about the shocks right now. We're gonna make a solid axle across here. We're gonna put bearings on each side, have a sprocket in the middle, and I'm hoping right in here somewhere we can actually mount that big electric motor and have it all self-contained on this little bracket here. We'll see if that's actually gonna work, but we got cut a couple things off here, and we'll start mounting some stuff that I've already got pre-made and we haven't fit yet. So next thing is we're gonna cut these little nubs off. So what I did here, I cut off the inside of where this little barrel stuck out, and all that did was retain this old axle that just held the wheels. The wheels literally go right onto this. So here's how that shock used to work, and they're stiff as frick. But here's my plan. We're gonna slide this out. And then I already made these little bearing adapters. So then we got these bearings that I bought off Amazon. Those will bolt right on there. What I'm gonna do is I'm actually going to use those as I've got this middle hole the size of that old axle. So what I'll do, I'll slide this in, use that hole to line up my old bearings. This plate's gonna get welded on now. So one on that side and one on this side. Down there, sucker. So now what that does is that lets me have these bearings lined up perfectly the way it used to be. So we'll weld those on, top and bottom, and then this is actually right around here. We're going to cut this off, and the reason is we actually need to fit this. So this is a little, like, basically like a live axle thing I made up. So this fits in our bearings, so our bearings can lock on. We bought this little hub that slips on here, and this will, I got to put holes in this sprocket. This sprocket came with our kit. That's going to go on with a bearing on each side like this, and then this shaft, I actually welded reducers on each end of this. So there's reducers inside here that fit this, so this will actually go inside of here. This will go inside of here, sorry. But this will be the moving axle. Reason being, our wheels will slip right back on this. This is measured for perfect spacing. And then, I don't know if you guys are familiar with Power Wheels hubs, but we need this piece to drive this. So we're actually 3D printing a little hub that will go on these. It'll go on there and lock on. And so that whole axle with the sprocket will turn the factory wheels if I can get it all to fit in here. So what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna start fitting and welding stuff. And while I'm doing that, Christy's job is to get all those batteries right there mounted in the hood. So while I'm doing some welding, Christy is gonna mount 1, 2, 3 batteries right here, and then she's gonna have to get creative to figure out in there where to put that controller. Right?
Yep.
Okay, so I'll get to welding, you get to mounting.
Yep.
And let's come see what we got. So Christy up here is getting the batteries all installed. So she's still got to do the bottom holes on all these and get them lined up nice. And then the batteries are mounted. She's got both power leads disconnected right now. So that's step one, figuring out where all 3 batteries go. Go ahead, get back to work. And over here, I'm done welding for now. So I've got these bearing holders on there now, one on each side. These bearings are actually going to bolt on right like this. So they're going to be on the inside. That's the only way I could get clearance for the wheel to still slip on. So I think I'm going to go ahead and get these both bolted on real quick. I got to go find bolts. Alright guys, so another day here. We got a little bit of stuff we talked about done, and we're going to change a couple things. So one thing, this thing was a swing arm, and I wanted to keep that, but I've changed my mind. This motor right here has to fit in here, and I planned on having it kind of attached here, so when this moved, the motor would go with it, and we could keep these chintzy little springs. But to where we don't have to cut up the body of this Jeep, I'm actually going to cut these off, and we're going to put a motor plate in here and weld it, and then I'm going to put some struts coming from here up to just make this rigid. It'll basically be like a go-kart, but it'll be a lot sturdier. Another thing, we got the sprocket hub. That's all done. Drilled the holes in the new sprocket, so now we can interchange different sprockets onto this hub if we want to change the gearing later. And so that'll slip on, and then I will actually drill a hole into this axle, and we'll run a set screw actually into the hole instead of using the keyway. I'd rather do that just because this is kind of going to be temporary. We might end up changing tires and wheels on this later, so that'll get by for what we have. And then our wheel down here, this is the 3D printed hub adapter, and then this has a hole to where we can pin it to the axle also, pretty much the same way. And what this will do is this will actually fit onto the wheel here. If I can get it on here. It fits the other wheel. It's really tight, you got to press it on. But then this will go onto this axle tube right here, and then that'll get pinned. And then the original axle will come through like that. So then the wheel will slip on, and then it'll bolt on right here like normal, but then it'll be driven off of this live axle. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to get these off here, start making a motor plate. While I'm doing that, Crystal's over here. She is rounding out this hole on the dash piece just a little bit, because she's got to make the key switch down here, wherever that went, right here. So this has to fit in there, and it's just a hair too big. So she'll open that up, and then she's gonna make this little notch so that this thing doesn't spin. So she'll do that, and then she'll start mounting the gas pedal. So she's working over here. I'm gonna start doing the welding stuff. We got the batteries mounted, got the controller mounted. So we're just waiting on those couple things here, and then we can start bolting some wheels and stuff back on this. So let me set you guys down and get some cutting tools out, and we'll get going here. But here's this motor. It's a big old motor. So yeah, let's get to it. So it looks like Christy got that all trimmed out. Come on. That little notch lined up.
Yeah, that top one is. Might need to go a little bit more.
A little bit more trimming?
Yeah.
Okay. So she's still working on that. Over here, I've got these cut off. They were right here. So what I'm doing now, I'm holding this up. This will get that back to where it originally was, and I'm going to tack that rotating bar, and then I'm going to start making some struts right here to reinforce this. And what I think I might do is just kind of use like some flat stock, like maybe like 1-inch flat stock, because this metal is so thin that I think if I go through here, that'll act kind of like a reinforcing washer right there on the outside too, and then it'll come straight down to here. And then I'm gonna put some gussets around stuff too, so I think that'll be plenty enough for what we're doing. So that's what I'm still working on. Let's hope Christy gets it this time. There, Christy just got it snapped in. Show them how that works, Christy, if somebody's never seen a key ignition before. So we could have just used the original switch instead of that key, but it's kind of cool having a little key in it. It just looks a little bit more realistic. Now she can have a little key for her Jeep. right?
Yep.
So now I think you're good to put that in, right?
Yep.
So
That-
Christy can put that snaps in right here, and then she can wire that into the controller, and then she can start working on the gas pedal down there on the floor. Got it?
Got it.
All right, brake. That's where the spring originally sat, so that should be roughly where the axle was. What I'm going to do is I'm going to tack the pivot point right here because we don't need that anymore. And then I'll actually get a measurement from here to here and here to here to make sure both sides is not twisted or anything. And then I'm going to start building that strut to come off of here down to here. So I'm just going to get this tack real quick. Watch your eyes. I think I need to move my ground. You're all right. Okay, so now with that tacked, I can actually go ahead and get this out of here. So now that'll stay right where it's at. I'll go ahead and get a measurement here. I'm kind of curious how far off it actually is. 3 7/8. 3 15/16. 7/8. So this thing just twisted a little. Okay, so we're 1/16 off. We're just gonna leave it. It's a Power Wheels car, come on. All right, so now I'm gonna go ahead and tack this side too, just to make it a little bit more rigid. And then I'm gonna figure out some math and cut some struts here. All right, so Christy's got the key in, and if you notice here, she mounted another battery spot, which we already had, and a 12-volt regulator. That's going up here to our power strip, or our distribution block is what we're using it for. Reason for that, we have some lights and stuff that are still on here. This thing's got some accessory dash lights and stuff, and we're gonna put something else on here later that needs a 12-volt, so this will just kind of be like an accessory. It's got an on and off on this one. This battery won't get burned up nowhere near as fast as these motor batteries here, but we wanted that in there for some options for 12 volts. So now the only thing left to mount is what Christy's got going here, is the variable speed throttle pedal. This kit came with the twist throttle and this pedal, and we want to use this. So what she did is she took a piece of paper, lined it up on the back, basically shadow traced it, and now she can put that paper on the ground of the Jeep, which is that way. She can poke holes in that, and now she can take this over here, set that down like that, and now she knows exactly where to put her holes in the floor. And then that's mounted, and the last thing left is to finish getting this motor mounted, and we could put the whole thing back together, I think, right?
I think.
Okay, so go get your holes drilled. Got it?
Got it.
All right, so I've got this thing welded up. I did not gusset it yet because we're not sure where our motor is going to sit. So I want to leave as much clearance room as possible. I went ahead and bolted our bearings on. You see this is welded, this is welded now. So up and down we're good. Plenty strong for a 2-year-old. So as of right now, we can go ahead and take this sprocket assembly. I don't know which orientation I want it on yet, but let's go ahead and put the axle shaft in here. I've got the bearings bolted on just loose so they kind of wiggle around. So this should slip in. So right now, we can center this up and actually tighten it down, and that's basically how our sprocket will sit. So what I'll do is I'll center this up, and now with this welded and not have to worry about it going up and down, now I can take this motor and fish this through, drop it on the ground. So now what I can do is I can make a mounting plate somewhere in here, figure out where I want this, and then this can move still. So I'll make a mounting plate for that motor, and then we're basically done with this. We got to mount the motor, tighten this down, put our hubs on. That's it. And then, yeah, let's go from there. So right now, what I'm thinking is bringing this motor forward a bit, about like there. Because what I can do now is I can take a piece of flat iron, come under and then 90 it up, and I can weld from here and then onto this bar and basically have a cradle that cradles that engine, or motor, sorry. And then just put 4 bolt holes in the bottom of it and we're done with it. And I think that's plenty strong enough, that'll rigid all of it up. And if I can put that there, we've got plenty of room to brace here and avoid our chain and everything. So I'm gonna try to cut some metal and bend that up there, and we'll see if we can get something to fit. But this is what we're looking at right now. And if we can make this work, this whole assembly will plastic screw right back onto the little machine. So that's the plan. That's what we're hoping we can make work. What do you got going, Christy?
The pedal.
Still working on the pedal?
Yep.
All right. Well, let me get back to work here.
Okay.
Drill them holes. She's got her pilot holes drilled. High speed. I think Rocket's under there swatting at you. Sweet. You ready to bolt it in now, huh?
Yep.
Cool, cool.
Alright, so the pedal is bolted in. We gotta drill a hole underneath it so that we can get the wire pulled up, and it's ran plugged in. So that's all good to go. What are you working on?
I am trying to make a mess here. Okay, so I got my line in there pretty much parallel. I'd like to get it lined up a little better. There we go. This is gonna be on a bit of a radius anyways, so that's perfectly okay. And I'm looking for like roughly a 90-degree bend, so I'm just going to take this not quite all the way, and I got some spacers here, so I'm going to try to get out of the way. So right there is almost all the way, and that's where I'm going to leave it. So let's take this out now. Makes a nice bend. Now let's go see over here. So what I'm hoping for is that this will slip right in there. Out of the way. The motor should sit really nice on that plate. That'll come up like that. And I'm just gonna rock this just about like that. So I think what I'll do is I'll get it spaced up and I'll mark the holes, and I'm gonna drill the motor first. And then we can clamp this up and weld it. But I think that's gonna work just fine. I'll drill some holes, trim this up, and we'll go for it. Man, this thing's cutting for shit. That cut horrible.
I was watching.
Everybody was watching. Obviously, this piece of metal is broken. Or this is broken because you used it.
I didn't use it.
Alright. Clean this bitch up. What about that? Alright, it's gonna get well. Here's what I got. Mounting holes. This line right here, that's my clearance line, so I need to be seeing at least that much. And then this one's gonna weld up here, so I need to get my ground on here. And I'm ready to go ahead and tack this thing. Support. There's just a little tiny tack on there, so I can still move this around a bit. Right about there is what I'm looking for. I'm gonna go ahead and tack right here. And I'll go ahead and do this one too. This right here, cat. So, there's our tacks. That's how the motor will sit in there now. So I'm going to go ahead and weld this up solid, and we're ready to bolt the motor and put a chain on this bad boy. So this thing's hot as hell right now, but I'm anxious and I don't have much patience. So I want to set it in here. Just make sure it fits. Then we can start fitting a chain up here. And you may notice that we didn't make anything for a chain tensioner on this, but we actually, like anything to slide and tension a chain, but we've got an actual chain tensioner that'll be here tomorrow. So we're gonna find a spot and weld that on to where it keeps the chain tight no matter what. That way the engine's solid. Motor, I keep saying engine. So what we can do now we can actually adjust our swing arm or our sprocket to this sprocket, and we'll start fitting a chain on this thing, and it's ready to go back on. So with our motor mounted, now I've got my straight edge on the sprocket. Gonna loosen it a bit, loosen it a little bit more, and now I can use my straight edge and just slide this thing over until they line up. If you look out the front here of the sprockets, Christy, look at see how they line up here? So that's where we're gonna leave that. So we'll tighten this down. And that's basically our final placement. We'll get this all set, we'll get a chain on it. And like right now, this whole thing just has to screw back onto the little Jeep. Then we'll go ahead and put this on. We'll do a chain and then we'll put this on. And we'll go from there. Let's get a chain on this thing. So we got the chain on, and it didn't come with the master link. We had to cut it, and it turns out we're gonna need a half link and a master link, and the chain fits pretty damn good for being zip tied on right now. But we're excited, so we're gonna just give it a test. Christy's got it wired in here. We're gonna make sure this whole contraption here works. We swapped out the gas pedal with this throttle so we don't have to sit in there. Christy's gonna go ahead and throw some batteries in this thing. So this, we're running 60 volts, 3 20-volt batteries. And we bought some cheap 10 amp hour 4-pack of batteries, so she's gonna have 6 batteries total for this thing. All good?
Yep.
All right, how about this? How about I swap this over to you? Let's see what we got here. Let's turn our key on. It'd be nice if something lit up, but it doesn't. And then let's just see if our motor does anything here. Oh, got it. So that's me barely touching the throttle. And I kind of want to just give it a zing one time, see if we can throw that chain off, huh?
Sure.
Ready?
Yep.
Let me take this out, or let's just leave it there. Okay. Ready? Yep. Holy buckets. So that's how fast it's gonna go. So that's freaking moving. All right, so there's our test. So now we're gonna get actually a master link and a half link, and then we'll put the wheels on and bolt this all together. But for now, that's all we screwed it down to boards. Christy's gonna try to go full speed this time. There it went. We knew we could break that zip tie. All right. She's kind of got to full speed. What we got? We went ahead and we threw some paint on this thing, so it's all ready to go. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and bolt the motor and everything, the bearings back on this, and then we're ready to bolt it back onto the car over there. I'm gonna need that. Come on, you fricker. So now we've got the axle in and the sprocket's just sitting there. So now we need to center it up here. Two and 7/8. So now I'm going to lock these bearings down. And that will hold our axle in. Like the outer axle, I guess you could call it. And if this starts to slip for some reason, we might drill a pilot hole into the axle so that these set screws run down in and like physically go inside the axle. I hope we don't have to do that, but it's not a big deal if we do. That's good. And then one more thing. So we redid our 3D printed hubs here. Version 1 snapped the back part off. So that's the first style. So we redid it and made it tapered so there's a lot more meat there, and then we got a set screw right here. And this one we actually will drill a hole in here, which this can actually go on now. So this face right here is going to be basically flush. If you look in here, that'll be flush. And then this screw will actually go down and go inside, just the tip of it will go inside this axle. So now I'll get both of these on there real quick. Perfect. Just use that to chamfer it a little. There we go. So that should be enough to let the tip of that bolt go in there. Trying to find that hole that I just made. There we go. And it's in there. They're both in. So now this will actually slip through. I'm gonna back that up a little. And now when I run this in, this will actually run in and it'll lock that too. So that's the stop for the center axle. So I can actually center this up now. 5 1/8. 6 1/2. I'll put a snug on these, and then this is all actually locked together and we're ready for the chain. Here we've got this all put together. This whole compact little unit will bolt right back onto the car now. It just bolts on with a few screws. The axle's all tight. We still don't have the master link down here, so we made a little wire one instead of a zip tie, just for now. We'll get a freaking master link, it's okay. But now we're ready to get this off. We're gonna flip the Jeep over and put it up on the lift here like a real car, and get all the wheels bolted back on it and get it all wired up. So this guy just sits in here. We need to get this wire ran probably right along there, and it'll drop into those little things. Just got to go inside these holes here. And it looks like we're gonna have to clearance just for these bolts right here, just to get this thing to suck all the way down. So I'm just gonna grab something to mark those holes, and that looks like right where the seat is, and the seat's 2-ply, so it's not gonna go all the way through the seat, but looks like we gotta drill that. I'll mark that real quick and we'll poke some holes in there. You can see down in there how the nut goes through the plastic now, so this thing has to just get bolted down. We are gonna use these outdoor screws. Wood screws are a little bit longer. The screws that actually go in this are these little guys, but since we're making about 70 horsepower now, we're gonna put a little bit of strength and plastic screws in there. Go ahead, Christy.
It's not lined up.
We're gonna have to push it around a little bit. Here. Sweet. You're good. Alright, so Christy's gonna go ahead and get all 8 of those screws in, 2 more down there, and then she'll do this side, and then we'll go ahead and put these front wheels on. So hurry it up, Christy.
I'm hurrying. You gotta trim just a little bit out to get those hubs to fit. Alright, I got that wheel on already. Christy just finished dremeling this side out. We had to make these a little bit deeper. But let's try to get this second wheel on here. And we want it nice and tight. There, it slipped on. And if you look here, like, there's just barely enough axle sticking out to get this to start. And then when we tighten it, it should suck all this together. There we go. Let's hit the other side. Let's go hit the other side again real quick. That's good. There, we got back wheels on. So it looks cool. It looks nice and clean from back here. It looks like a real, I mean, it is a real drive axle, but that's what we're looking at. So now we can put the front wheels on. You want to do the front wheels, Crystal? Sure. Go ahead and set them up there. We've had these front wheels off a bunch of times. I suppose we should say this, I don't remember if we said before, but this little electronic steering gearbox, we took the intermediate gear out. That way, this is all 100% free. But this steering box is what stops this from sliding all the way up and down. So now that's holding it in, and we can put this on. But are we upside down? I think this is upside down, isn't it? I think so.
No, I don't think it is. I think you're backwards.
No.
Spin it around. There you go, because the axle goes right here.
here upside down again. Flip it my way. Christy.
What? Oh my god.
Flip it like there you go. And then that lifts up.
You're getting me over here.
Da, 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 da. That's how it goes.
Gotta go my way. There.
Yep. There. So now we just got to put the nut and washer on here, put the screws here and here, and that's it for the front wheels. So you can kind of see, even though it's upside down, looks pretty natural. We'll put the hubcaps back on, which I broke a couple of them over here. They're just held on with these little clips, and I snapped a couple off. We might end up hot glue them or something real professional like. Let's see. But for now, we'll get those in up there. So the front's all bolted on. We'll see what we can do with this hubcap, and then it's ready to go back on the ground and finish up our wiring, and we're about ready to test. So we'll wait on Christy here and get that going. All right. We've got the front end all on, screwed down, steering nuts on, the back's all on here. Got the hubs on now. Did some hot glue to hold the broken spots. Should be good enough for now. There might be future plans to replace these wheels and axle to give this thing a little bit more grip, because we know these tires are going to spin. But for test purposes, this is all perfectly fine. So now I think we're ready to go ahead and flip this thing back over and get it on the wheels. All right, so let's get it over and finish up our wiring. We've got the wiring all cleaned up now. We didn't record that, but I'll show you what we got going on here. We've got a little terminal strip over here, and this is all of our motor controller wires, so that's all 60 volt. We put this remote control contact in there, but that turns it on and off. If there's, you see there's a little light over there. If you can see back here, probably can't see, but the remote turns it on and off. And what the plan was with that is to run the key through it. So since this thing is going to be kind of fast, that way you can walk behind it with an extra key, and if it gets out of hand, you just click, shut it off, and it'll just sit right where it's at. But we need a different one, because we were looking for one with this switch, and this actually has positive and negative output. We just want an open close switch, so we're going to replace this, but that's the plan for it. If you look here, we've got another terminal strip right here, and then that's all going off this battery down to our 12 volt regulator. So this is all 100% for 12 volt. What we have the 12 volt for, if we close the hood there, let's click a light. So we've got this switch in here, Christy. We got this switch, and that turns our underglow on, the headlights, and then it's got some little dash lights here too. So that's what the 12 volts for. Looks cool on the back. So let's put the key back in here. We are functional. We've got this here, this wire and jumper right here. We didn't want to put this on a switch because this is for a 2-year-old, but this right now we have this wired for low gear. If we wanted to, we could put this on a 3-position switch and it'd have high, medium, and low gear. We can swap this jumper back over for high gear, but for now we're just going to leave this hidden, keep it in low. Let's show you what it does. Let's turn the key on. It's on, and now we're back to our gas pedal here. So this, show the wheels. That's low gear, which we think is going to be fine, but
our next step now is we got to get a little 2-year-old jockey out here to test this thing out. We can set it on the ground real quick if you want.
Sure.
Yeah, set the camera down. All right, so now Christy hooked up the handle switch again, so you don't have to lean over to the gas pedal. But she's gonna let it run into her leg, and let's just see here. Go ahead, Christy. Go ahead. Okay. Ready? Do this again here. Scoot some shits out of the way. All right, go ahead, Christy. So that's low gear. It seems like it's gonna work great. It's driving pretty good. We're obviously too big to get in it, but so that's that, guys. Next part of the video, we're gonna have somebody in this thing, take it out to the yard, test it. So this video is not over yet. Let us know how you think it'll hold up though. And the next part is this thing being driven wherever we can get it to go. So we're not done yet. Turn the key on. That's it. That's it. So your lights still work? You got all your lights? And so now if you as soon as you press that button, then it's ready to go.
Have Jesse stand in front of it.
In front of her? Stand like about a
Hold
couple
it.
feet back. No, you just tap it once, and that turns it on. It doesn't do nothing with it. I'll show you. So like, see the light down here? Hit your button there. Now you're on.
Oh, okay.
So if she gets out of hand, you hit that and it shuts the whole thing down. Whoa! Get it!
Push the button!
Hit the
Push the button! You can do
Bigger.
it! Oh!
You okay?
Uh-oh.